Today, I thought, why not just help you guys out and go through each individual hero and showcase at least one talent build that I am using currently on that hero and why I've got it on them, right? So if you're looking for just ways to change up your trees to have a little bit more flexibility so you can do a lot more in the game, maybe this is the video for you, right? So we're going to kick things off. We're going to honestly go from top to bottom. We're going to work our way down, right? So when it comes to Syndrion, Syndrion is obviously my go-to kind of G2, you know, archer. He does a ton of damage, as you guys know. But when it comes to the talent page, this is the talent page I do run, right? I'm going to showcase another talent page that you can run also on him. And the main thing you need to realize on this is the precision tree is king, right? The honorable mentions you really need to know about the talent tree is taking advantage of Invincible, which is increasing your normal attack, and obviously the crit bonus and the critical damage from this precision tree, and then grabbing your Mighty Slash, right? When you're looking for other points to place, one of the best points, honestly, in the precision tree, which people do not appreciate right now, is Irrepressible. You can see only 17% people have this selected, but it's such a game changer for the 2% defense penetration, right? For another tree, which is honestly identical, but the only difference you're going to see is the above section. All we're going to do is change those 10 points, because if you do not want a very offensive, you know, Syndrion like I have, where I've got 2.5% attack and 15% march speed, so I get the most amount of stats, you could sacrifice that doing the exact same thing, but going into the rally tree. The reason you're able to do this is these actual buffs are overall legion buffs. So it doesn't require you to actually be in a rally to gain this. So you can be tankier with 2% HP and still get at least 10% extra march speed. So you do lose 5%, but you are gaining 2% HP you honestly never had in the tree. So it's the exact same thing than the last one, right? As you can pretty much see on the tree there. That just kind of showcases what you're able to run on this hero, right? So that's Syndrion kind of covered. And now we're going to go to Liliya. So if you're a Liliya player, you've got her awakened, because that's honestly the best bang for the buck and one of the best heroes in the game. And obviously, if you're even running a 5-1-1-1, the current talent page I am running is this one. It's a little bit of a different change at pace that people have been running, but one thing that I've noted to myself again, which has honestly been a game changer for myself, has been Unquenchable Will. Honestly, ignoring 2% HP is what is an absolute game changer, and you can see over 26% people also have this compared to the Syndrion, which only has 17%. So there's almost 10% extra players using this, and for good reason, because this is so much better than actually dumping 5 points into gaining the 8% hero skill damage, which is honestly very, very surprising. Apart from that, all I've done is gone for the rage, gone for the extra damage this time for my deputy, so we can do as much, obviously, 7 wounds to the players to maximize our merit reports. And because honestly we're mages, and the more I've been playing mages and the more I've realized you can honestly last a long time out there, Caged Animal is so goddamn good. 34.5% players taking this as well, and it is really good. This is giving you the 8% skill damage bonus that you technically lost from not taking Detached, right? From here, which is a little bit different than a lot of players have been doing, but we are going for Magic Maelstrom. We still go down the magic tree, and we actually play this talent page a lot more standard than you've seen in the Syndrion build. And all we're doing here is taking, again, the best stats. So I'm grabbing the HP, 2.5%. I'm grabbing over 15% march speed, because mages want that to kite still. And then you're getting 2.5% attack bonus, right? You could choose, honestly, to get the 4% hero skill damage. I'm going to test the difference for you guys on what's better. I'm going to be honest, because I don't know if the raw stats is going to be more beneficial than the skill damage bonus, but you can see over 30% people taking this. So if you want to just be safe like we have been in the past, I would take the Intimidation, right? But the main key thing for this talent page is the Magic Maelstrom. You really do want this. It honestly is amazing that you strip the defense for the enemy by 10%, and you have the 2% HP bypass. it works so good together. And that's what makes this build, especially for Liliya, absolute monstrous, right? Now we're going to go to my Kinnara, and this is a new talent build I have honestly been playing with, and I'm going to go really hard to town, hopefully in the next season with it. So it's really interesting when we look at this build, because it's not what you expect, right? We've not got down all the way to one of these end points, because what I've actually aimed for is trying to get the best stats and uptime on my defense breaks, because by having more defense breaks, I can have a Kinnara Nico match, and this Kinnara can be the primary with a Snow Spear, Snowpeak Owl, and the Rattle Spear all together, right? And do an insane amount of burst damage if we have long range talent. So that's the only reason I'm doing this, right? So the reason why we're going down this build is I would honestly go down the first part in the marksman tree. You're going to get the most damage and actual benefit for your archers by doing so. But once you complete this tree, you will go into the control tree, and you honestly only need to put 1 point into this. You could put 2 points, and that's what I did, just to give myself a little bit of extra, reason why. But it's a 2% defense reduction. Every point you put into ambush, guys, is increasing the defense reduction. But what we care about is just defense breaking. So what we could honestly have is 1 point into this. This is a 10% chance to obviously defense break for 1%, but that triggers our Snow Peak Rock, right? And we can also put 1 point into Tremble, which is giving them a 1% attack reduction too. And honestly, having both of these active would allow your Backstabber trigger, giving you 2% more damage overall, which is actually really, really beneficial to the match, right? In this actual page, the thing that I want to kind of mention is the fact that we've gone for maximum HP, 2.5%, and instead of going all the way deep, we still get the rage accumulation speed. So again, it really does emphasize trying to maximize that, right? So this is kind of my Kinnara build that I'm going to run next season, just to showcase that for you guys. And if you are wondering for a more standard build, don't worry, we've got Nico coming up, and that is a better tree if you just want to run a Nico Kinnara with just raw damage, right? Next up is my girl, the grandma Indis. I love this hero, and she's so goddamn good for the game. And the thing is, I've got to set up for my Tara. So this is going to be, sadly, and when we get into Tara, we won't really showcase a page for her, but I will just explain why here. She is a deputy hero, and Indis Tara is going to be the match together. And I honestly want to use that with my mages. If I'm able to try and slot it in with archers, I'm going to have to figure out how to do that, right? Because the thing is, with this page, you can see what I really like about it is the fact that we're taking, obviously, reduced damage for 10 seconds, making us really tanky out there. We get 10% Sev wound reduction. So our actual report and using this march is so beneficial to us, because we're not really, honestly, losing that much for empowering all of our other marchers. And like I said, because I'm aiming to use this with mages, it does allow you to use the occult barrier. And this is giving you a 5% hero skill damage taker reduction with magic units, right? So I really do like this page. It's a really powerful page for her. And on top of that, if you've looked, I am going in the support tree, and it just gives you stuff like Force Field, which is increasing your HP. And on top of that, taking less normal attack damage against those pesky archers is really good as well, on top of obviously the counterattack damage reduction you have in your Indis, right? So nice quick page there for Indis for you guys, right? Nika. So the sad thing with Nika, guys, she is a primary hero, but only for me as a peacekeeping hero. I actually use my Nika quite a lot when it comes to forts, or if I need to just kind of kill a bunch of new, Darklings or stuff and level up one hero, I might, use her with someone, right? And the beautiful thing with Nika, and I think you could probably do a lot better now, I didn't know they actually buffed the peacekeeping tree pretty well. And it's a pretty good tree to go down, especially if you want to level up heroes and get some bonuses out of it. Because the thing is, in this tree now, you're getting 5x extra manuals, right? So you're getting extra XP manuals for doing what you're already doing, which is amazing. I'm going to be honest, just adding 5 for free out of nowhere is going to add up in the long run. Maybe at the end of the season, right, you've just unlocked the brand new hero like Maggrat from the daily deals. boom, you've got all this on top to level him up. It's such a good one. And then on top, you got war trophies. So again, you gain extra item rewards for peacekeeping. So this is going to give you more resources and more other additional rewards you want for doing what you're already needing to do. So I honestly think this build, if you've not tried it out for other potential peacekeeping commanders that you might consider using, this is the tree. So a really good tree for that. It's going to give you a bunch of stuff you want. You can see I've kind of dumped an extra point here. It's just because what I had left over is what it is, right? But it's mainly talking about these two actual talents. Pretty good for the new talent pages, right? Maggrat. So Maggrat is going to be a hard one to talk about because this is, as you'll see, the tree I am currently running on her, and it's had a few tweaks, and I've gone down the same path of maxing out Irrepressible over actually dedication, and this does obviously affect my march. It means I don't sustain as heavy, but if I've got a really good sand lizard, you really don't need this. All you're trying to use dedication for is to trigger Maggrat's skill 2 for the maximum uptime on the attack buff. And the beautiful thing about this page, again, with the Mark of War, because you're always going to be in battle, which is kind of crazy, you're going to be able to use it for mages and for archers, because the beautiful thing is we've gone for the pure precision tree, which is all overall legion buffs wherever you look on it. And then we purposely went down the garrison tree for the exact same reason as I explained in the Syndrion section, right? We get 2% extra HP for free and 10%. And this is for all units. So this makes this tree, honestly, Maggrat, in my opinion, the best one. It just allows you to have the maximum flexibility for this hero in the current state of the game, where you can use it with archers and as a mage hero. So really good talent page for you guys to look at. You can use it if you want. Obviously, if you want to tweak it a little bit, tweak it as you go. Now, Nico. I love the ginger afro. It's been my favorite, honestly, hero since the beginning. Why? Because if you're an OG, you're an OG member like me from Server 4 or before global launch, you will remember that once upon a time, we had attack speed on Nico, and it was just that mechanic alone that really made me fall in love with this guy. He's such a cool hero in design, even as a halfling engineer. But he's just a really cool hero. And the thing is, when it comes to his talent page, this is the talent page I am running right now. And it's a very, again, heavy precision tree, because precision is arguably just the most disgusting tree you can run on archers. You can go down another alternate tree that I will showcase here, which is this one, right? This is a really good tree, and this is for Nico, where you can run Nico with anyone. And the reason why is purposely for all the maximum buffs. You're gaining last word, and if you want to, if you run, this tree, little tip and trick, you can run, Nico and Kinnara. You can double up and actually get last word a second time, right? So you can get 8% on your counter attack damage, which is obviously really good for a Nico primary with the Kinnara, right? But if you're not going to run that, this is going to be fine for everyone else. It's just going to enhance the most amount of damage you do. But like I say, I really like this one. This is the page I've been running for quite a while now. I've been trying out Whirlwind again versus Invincible, and I'm actually getting a lot better results with Whirlwind in the merit reports. I think it's because the 150 damage factor is adding to, the extra 7 wounds. So it gives me a more positive report per turn when this is triggering. So it's a really good actual thing to run. Obviously, we get in the crit. Obviously, you need the crit. And in this scenario, because honestly, you do die pretty quick if you're running Nikos, people do target you. It's better to run more of a glass cannon build. So Mighty Slash here, giving you that extra chance to trigger an additional attack, is so much more worth it over the Mark of War. So that's the reason why we're going down that page. With this build as well, Shower of Blows, this gives you, again, flexibility with the Nico, Kinnara. You can run Nico, Kregg, Nico, Gwanwyn, you name it. It's going to allow all of those, raid skills to do extra damage on the open field. So those were the two more simple builds. If you want to run Marksman, I would run those on your Nico. Bertie, right? I'm not gonna lie, I don't really use my Bertrand, but the talent page I have got on at the moment is this one. I'm not gonna say it's the best tree, because you can see already I've got one major mistake that I haven't fixed. I would max out 5 out of 5 unquenchable will. I'd basically swap these two around, right? So I'd have 1 point here and 5 points here. But the beautiful thing about this page, though, with Bertrand, and this is where the honorable mention is for this talent page, is the First of Blood. The First of Blood is such a powerful talent on your Bertrand. The reason why it's actually going to apply the compound interest stack, so it's actually working now, so it's going to actually deal or help you deal more damage. So if you're trying to run, you know, maybe a Bertrand Atheus match, this would be a more, you know, beneficial page for you to go. And maybe more mage mains could talk about this page and say why maybe First Blood as well isn't as good anymore. But this is what I have been personally running. This is what I'm still going to be running, and it's doing fine for me, right? The only thing I would change is these two pages, right? So that is nice and simple, going down the PvP tree and the skill tree for our good old Bertrand, right? Velyn. So Velyn's going to be an interesting one because certain players will use Velyn like me as a deputy. But if you're going to be one of those guys that run, you know, Velyn primary, there is a talent page that I would recommend. And this is the page that I would. It's a very support heavy page because the thing is with this hero, even though he looks like he can do a ton of damage, he really doesn't. He's actually more of a really good mage buffer with the crit bonuses. And because of the control and magic tree, it allows him to actually be a really good support hero. So what I've done on this page is gone for what I was showcased for the first time, this super rage build. So what this allows you to do is honestly generate the most amount of rage per turn with just these two pages, right? This is absolute crazy. And what it allows you to do once you fire off your skill, you'll notice we do have foresight. This is giving you 75 rage, and this is insane because if this triggers and then you get any of these following it up, you'll notice you'll just go blip, right? And you fire off again. And the beautiful thing about this build, you can tailor it a little bit, right? I've gone for the tremble to reduce 5% attack. If you want to be a little bit more supportive and change that, you can go down the defense break. You can see 21% people have picked this, right? To go for that sustain damage with their, you know, march. But on top of this, because you are going to be doing a ton of debuffing with your freezing effects already in the march, Sage is an amazing skill. This is going to give you a 50% chance for 10 seconds, guys, just to get 5% free damage on top of the fact that you're getting 2% extra damage on top, right, from Backstabber. So Backstabber with Sage is a really nasty combination, and it works really well. And to finish it off, 40% have all gone for the rage skill. It's a really good one for this mage. Hitting 3 potential targets potentially is really nice, and having any of them silenced is great. I am going to do some testing with Autumn Rains. I think this could be underrated. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to do some testing on it, but I'm not going to mention it in this current build. So this is the Velyn build for you guys. You can take a picture of it. Now, moving to Zayda. So Zayda is an interesting hero again because I don't honestly use her as a primary hero. I honestly think Zayda is more suited to the deputy slot in Call of Dragons. However, if you do want to go down that route and go down the primary route, this is the page I would run. And the reason why I run this page is because I honestly do not ever want to get targeted to a point where I can never escape. And this is basically the fastest kind of combat orientated march you can have, right? Some people are wondering, why do you have Delight, right? You're not using Rage with this march, right? Well, the thing is, a lot of players are using stuff like Zayda with Ffraegar. It's weird, right? And it's been doing pretty well. And you can obviously experiment, obviously, with your Zayda and Nico. Zayda going into, obviously, Kinnara or, obviously, Syndrion. People are liking these combinations where you're mixing up these heroes together, right? So that's why you can run Delight on her, just to emphasize that. However, if you choose not to, if you do not want to run her and you're strictly going to use her as a Zayda Maggrat march, obviously remove Delight. You don't need Delight. And what I would honestly go for is Colonist. It's really good. Below 50%, we get an extra 2.5% attack bonus. What's really good about our march with Magzay, if you take Colonist, is when you hit that below threshold, you get that extra, basically, steroid. You got to think all of your normal attacks now is going to give you a little bit extra healing. So it's going to allow you to sustain a little bit longer than you thought, right? So good option for you. One other talent I really do want to talk about in the marksman tree. And do you know what? No, I'm going to wait. I'm going to let another hero use it, because if you notice what talent it might be, maybe put in a comment section down below, timestamp it and see if you were right, and then obviously edit your comment later on in the video, right? But we'll save it. We'll save it, honestly. So now we're going to Goresh. Goresh, really good hero. This is one of the best of, if not the best, counter-attack damage, you know, infantry hero in the game. He's doing the most amount of damage out there. And this is my current page, and you can change this page up too. Some players are opting the same thing I talked about with the Syndrion and with the Maggrat, where you get the 2% HP and this, you know, you can see it there, right? The march speed. So people are opting to do it if you want to. What I personally prefer, though, is going more heavy into this entire infantry page. One thing people really, I think, discount, and they always say it's not worth it, but anytime I have put this on my march, it feels way tankier. It is generalist. When in battle, your legion has a 10% chance for one turn to gain over 5% attack, defense, and HP. Basically, what that's saying is, guys, every turn, this is every turn, it's for 1 second, it has no cooldown. So you could hit it a turn after and a turn after and roll the dice like an absolute luck god. But you're getting in that turn the 5% but you know, tempo swing in your favor, especially if you're going against enemy frontline, is going to win over the long period. And I don't think people are realizing that with this march. And obviously we're going to be doing counter-attack damage, so you have to take last word and ready for battle here. No-brainer, just absolute no-brainer with the Goresh Skogul. But honestly, I really did want to talk about generalist and having it included in your build. If you don't like it, fair enough, go for something else. But personally, I think it's the best thing. It's been honestly outperforming for me a lot of the other talents, right? You could put in flank protection. You can see I don't have it on this build. I know a lot of you guys are probably commenting right now. Honestly, the 75% reduction is insane. I would honestly only go to 45%, get 3 points into it, and still get this. But the fact that I just go for the damage build will make him understand why I'm not going flank protection, right? And now going to Ffraegar. Ffraegar, again, I'd use personally as a deputy. Even in all case scenarios, I've tried her. I've always put her as the deputy. So if that's a Maggrat, Ffraegar, Syndrion, Ffraegar, even in the, you know, air, I use Theia and Ffraegar. I really don't put her in the primary slot. If you want her in the primary slot, this is the page I'm going to run. I'm not going to tell you any different. It's just the fastest page for march speed for her. Honestly, it's just going to give you, look, 15%, 25%, 35%, and you guessed it, 45%. And that's not even including this to give you the 51% march speed bonus. So it is fast as hell. If you want to run it, run it. I personally wouldn't recommend running her as a primary hero, right? Skogul. Now, Skogul is a different story, because the thing is with Skogul, I have still to this day the speed demon build. And you can build her differently, right? So just for argument's sake, I will take this off screen. But you can go for the counter hit build here. If I reset this, or not even reset this, but you could put in here to finish this off now, the 3 points in here, right? It's so good for your march, because what you're allowing you to have here, or even just having 2 points into this just to have 5 again, this page, similar to the Goresh page that I just showed you, has all of the defense that you want, basically, with the protection and the damage. But what I run is the speed demon build. Why? I run this because with Skogul, Nika, I am telling you, any cavalry player tries anything near this march, you're chasing them down. It is terrifying. It is insane that the fastest march in the game is a infantry march. Let's just say that. It is fucking devastating to see that. The fact that the Berserker charge just goes off and you're able to 1v1 them with this build is crazy. You can go quicker. You can go quicker. You can opt in to put the 5 points here. Personally, I've learned it's a little bit too much, but if there is that one guy that somehow is outspeeding you, you know what to do. Just flip this into here and go full speed demon. But this is the speed demon Skogul build. I thought I'd show this. It does give you two options, right, for the Goresh Skoguls on what you want to run. So a little bit of interesting choice. Gwanwyn, unfortunately, is just on a standard precision build. I might change it, honestly, into a peacekeeping build just so I can maximize again on the precision and the war trophy. I really do think that's a really good build for this hero because you can just use her as, you know, leveling up as a brand new account as your peacekeeping commander. And then when you go into behemoths, you just put her in the secondary slot and you could run a Kregg, you could run like a 5-1-1-1 Nico and just run a proper marksman tree, right? Or precision tree like this one, right? And you'll do an insane amount of damage. So this is the Gwanwyn. I'm going to unfortunately just kind of swiftly move on because sadly, she's not one of my favorite heroes that I use that often nowadays. If I do, she's a deputy again. Madeline. Whew. Madeline, my tree. This is my current tree, and everyone keeps wondering how my Madeline is tanky, and this is the only reason, honestly. I can't explain why. I'm gonna be honest, I think it's just the fact that I have just the most sheer amount of reductions as possible on taking hero skill damage, and then on top of this, we got the HP plus the extra HP Vigor trigger, right? And then anytime we're below 50%, we take 8% less normal attack damage. It all adds up. It adds up all the time, I'm telling you. And if you've got that Garwood with your Madeline, it just stands there and it tanks, right? So this is my tank page. This is kind of a little bit different. That's what you've seen for the Goresh, right? You can still run the Goresh page that I showed you guys earlier on the Madeline if you want. They've got the exact same pages, right, with the infantry and tank choices. So it's up to you if you want to do that, right? Moving on to Theia. So Theia is a weird one because my Theia is currently rocking this setup because I actually do love the overall tree, and you'll notice again it is down the main route because I do run Theia with my Atheus or my Bertrand. So that's why I'm going for the extra reduction. Obviously the 7 wound reduction, absolutely amazing for this build. And then obviously coming into the PvP, we're getting some more march speed, which is really nice. And you might be wondering why I've gone for rage regen. You got to remember, guys, when you have your primary commander, all of the talents you take apply to both, you know, commanders. So what this means is, yes, when I launch a normal attack, I'm generating rage quicker. And yes, I'm doing this, but I'm not dealing any damage. But I'm getting that shield quicker. I'm getting that hero skill damage bonus quicker. And then my Atheus, my Bertrand gets to fire their skill even faster, right? So that's the reason why I've gone down this route. I prefer speed over power per hit. Some people might want to take the 5% hero skill damage bonus instead. I would not hate you guys. That's perfectly fine, right? This is honestly a really hot contested area when it comes to which one to take. 14.9 versus 14.1. It's a really close contest on the PvP side, right? But that is going to be my Theia page for you guys. Rock it if you want. It's up to you. Now moving on to Tohar. People do want to run Tohar primary, but from what I have learned from various mage players, it's best to run Tohar deputy, right? It's best to run a Liliya Tohar, Bertrand Tohar, right? It's always Tohar deputy. It's never the primary. And I think it's always to do with the way this whole skill set is set up. It allows you basically to get the balls off, let the primary commander fire, and then it resets it perfectly in this, you know, setup, so you get another set of balls. I believe. I could be wrong. I believe that is the reason why. But on top of this, the talent choices ain't the greatest. I'm going to be honest. When you're in the Tohar page, and if you're going to run Tohar primary, I would recommend something like this. The reason why is because you're gaining as much of the damage as you can with like stuff like Ecoclasm as well as the Magic Maelstrom, but you don't have many good options out of the magic tree. You know what I'm saying? Like when you come into the support tree, as you can see, the really good stuff is the 2% HP and the head held high. Because the thing is, you still kind of want to generate the rage, even though you might not think it, for your Bertrand. Getting your Bertrand to fire off quicker and then keep up the single target damage cycle faster is so important, right? I haven't gone overboard. I don't think you need to have the foresight because it's a little bit over crazy. And I don't think this is going to be great. I would love to hear maybe your comments down below if you've tried foresight out on Tohar. But this is what I would run. It's a lot safer. It's a lot easier. You can obviously change some points about if you choose to run stuff like infantry counter tactics to purposely kill infantry with your Tohar, right? Kregg. Now, Kregg, this is the one guy I've been waiting to talk about because you'll notice he is running the exact same page as Zayda. But the difference is with this page is I want to talk about Harvest. If you're not running Harvest on your Kregg and you're running Kregg Primary, you are fucking up. I'm telling you now. This one skill gives you the best reports in the game for any Kregg by a landslide. Because the thing is with Kregg, and what's so good about a Kregg, is the bleed damage, right? He has a ton of area of effect damage in his kit. He's doing 800 damage to one target, 300 damage to 2 other targets, and then he deals 600 damage, guys. Because it's 200 damage every second for 3 seconds, so times this number by 3. It's a lot of damage they are taking, right? And the thing is, because of that, and you're hitting multiple units with him, and again, he's a marksman, and he can kill mages really quickly if people are not paying attention to a really good Kregg player, your reports stack up. You're going to defeat enemies so quickly, and you're going to have that 5% bonus limit that everyone else next is even easier and even easier. And when you come out of the combat, you don't have to feel too bad because as soon as you enter combat, you got to remember that AoE is going to splash on other enemies. Your allies could kill those, and if they kill the guys to the left and right that your bleed and the 300 damage is dealt, you've just got the 5% bonus back and you're already killing a single target. You know what I'm saying? It is so good, this talent. I don't understand why people aren't using it. 7.7% people are, and those 7.7% are actually smart in this game. Apart from that, I would run down the mobility tree because the mobility tree does grant you the 20% march speed for your march, right? So it's getting you in and out of the combat, right? While we're taking all of the raw damage stats from the marksman tree. So really good tree there for you guys. I would definitely recommend using that if you're going to use Kregg. Now we've got Atheus talent page. Very similar to what we've seen with Kregg, to be honest. You'll notice, right? Very, very similar. And the thing is, with this page, it's honestly all about dealing as much single target damage as you can. And the fact that we get Magic Maelstrom and obviously Egoclasm, it's just a match made in heaven. You get to strip the enemy, and if you don't strip them and during, maybe between turns, you could get the Egoism and the Wither trigger, right? The Wither having the magic defense reduction. It's just great. It's allowing your Atheus as single target, guys, to honestly hit the most. And again, you got to remember, you're already gaining a ton of rage with this hero. So you don't really need the rage generation from this skill. You could go down that route if you want. But the reason I like this page in particular, if you've not noticed, we got the 10, we got the 20, and yes, we've got the 35% march speed bonus going into the 41%. So you get to poke so fast in and out of combat with your flying units. And that's not even adding in, guys, 5% extra march speed just because of your center stone, right? So 46% march speed with this march. Kind of cracked. You're already gaining, again, I believe the 20% here. You have a lot of march speed. So it does make him the ultimate single target poker for all of you Celestial players. So that is the page I would run. And that is for your Atheus, right? Moving on, this is Bakshi. Bakshi's next page is honestly, I'm going to be real with all of you guys. I would not listen to my cavalry pages apart from one page that I will showcase after, right? The one thing with cavalry, so with Bakshi, even your Emyrs, your Thorindil, right? Going into your Alistair, Urag, and obviously Tobin, if you have them, right? The one thing I think every cavalry main will thank me for saying in the comment section below is the most important stat for your cav is making them all move at the same speed and getting the most damage as possible. And I mean that, right? Because at the moment, I am just running a skill damage, just simple treats. Nothing easy, right? It's just an easy tree. There's no thought process into it. But what I would honestly be looking into if you're a cavalry person is finding out how much march speed each of your calves have and how much you need to increase, right? So if you need to put in for hypotheticals, right, this little 5 points here, and in his peacekeeping, you're going to gain, look, 10%. So if you need to put 2 points, 3 points, or 4 points, or even 5 in specific cavalry heroes to make sure they're running as fast as all of your other heroes with all the artifacts equipped, right? That's the go-to strat, right? Once you've got that march speed down with all the rest of your talent points, all you're going to do, guys, get the damage. Get as much damage as possible because you're going to be taking advantage of your skill damage with your unyielding rush, right? So that honestly is my best advice when it comes to cavalry. I wouldn't honestly listen to any of my other cavalry pages apart from the fast boy. This is the fastest page in the game. Just take it and enjoy it because obviously it's not finished yet. I've got to go up here, and then once I've gone and got the extra damage, you can go into the rest of the response, right? But this is the fastest march speed in the entire game. You're gaining in total 15, 25, 35, 45, going into 55, 61%, and then adding the 5, right? So 67% march speed, not including now the bonus you get of 5% or 20%, should I say, march speed if you're tile hopping. So you are the fastest Emrys on the block, but it does require you to tile hop to do so. But even without the tile hopping, you're going to be the fastest guy on the market, right? As long as you're putting him up with the right march. So I thought I would showcase this one at least as one cavalry outcry, because obviously I'm not a major cav main, and I don't want to put some misinformation out there that the cav mains will get upset about, right? Maybe if you're a cav guy, hit me up on Discord. We can make a video with what pages you need to run, and it would help, honestly, I think, loads of people out, right? Now, Garwood. Garwood's an interesting one because you could run him on the open field. I honestly do run him more on this page here if you are doing so. Because the thing is, with this page, I haven't finished it. As you can see, we just need to finish Encouraging Dance and grab Unyielding Spirit to finish it off. What you are really want to take advantage of is Iron Will. This is allowing your Garwood, honestly, to tank more than you think. Anytime you are gaining a buff effect through rage skills, you're going to get an extra 1 second, right? So you've got to think, this is already now a 5-second buff. If you are awakened, this is going to a 7-second buff, guys. That is insane. That's not even including, for example, your Madeline. Now, Madeline will activate in the deputy slot and have a 5-second extra attack buff, right? Which is just amazing again. So depending on what heroes you want to pair up with your Garwood, I would definitely always take this Iron Will. So this is the page I would run for your Garwood. You can tweak it if you like a little bit. I would just, again, finish off Encouraging Dance and get your Unyielding Spirit. So moving down the line, we're coming near to the end of all the heroes. I'm going to be honest with you guys. We've got Eliana. So Eliana is honestly an interesting hero. I'm making, as you can see, a super crazy build. I'm taking this out because I messed up, because I fucked up. But what you want to use your Eliana for, if I'm honest with you, is going down more of a tree like this. So if we grab all of this, I'll build it live for you. You want to use her as a merit printer, right? You want to use her as a merit printer. So the thing is with this, we're going to get the HP, we're going to get the defense, so you can get the better trades. You can obviously take the more skill damage if you choose to, but you'll notice per turn, actually dealing more normal attack damage with this match is a lot more beneficial. Grabbing the Guardian Angel, grabbing a 1.5% more damage, then, and this is what's really key to the trades, having the 10% severely wound reduction. This is going to make your merit trading, honestly, so much better. If both players take this, you're going to get actually more out of your troops, which is really good. And then you can choose what you want to obviously merit trade with, but normally it's always hasted retreat. It kind of forces you into this. You're not merit trading with calves, they're really bad, and you're not merit trading with mages, they're really bad. And to finish this off, you can go into Cornered Rat, but Thunder Fury is the go-to. Honestly, I do not like Cornered Rat. It's just not great. This is giving you the attack and defense every 30 seconds for 5. So really good. You got 13 points remaining. You could go down the support route. To go down the support route, you're going to have to take the HP. And then again, double up on the normal Adrenaline Rush. You could grab the Rage here if you really want to. I personally don't like it. Then I do go down the defense. I actually double up on the defense here and finish up with Force Field, giving you that maximum HP. By having that page, guys, with this HP on Force Field, that is your honest to God page I would run on Eliana on the open field / merit farming in Call of Dragons, right? Pan. So I'm going to talk about Pan, and do you know what? We'll talk about Pan, right? Because the thing is with Pan, like Tara, like Keller, like all the girls, right, including Chakcha and Ordo, the 2 boys, right, they are the Gathering Heroes. And the thing is, they are honestly sharing a very similar page. Your page might look a little bit different, but I would honestly to God recommend these pages, because the one thing in this game that's the most important thing out of everything is your gathering speed. Not your load capacity, because the thing is you can always get more load capacity with your troops, and to be honest with your tech, you'll realize a 200k match is way more than you need to farm any of the tiles. So you need speed. Speed is the go-to. And the thing is, with all of your different heroes, your talent tree will look a little bit different. And what I mean by that is because we are, and I always go down the beginning route and grab the mana, right? So we grab this mana, grab gathering speed. We get the increased gathering speed here on top, march speed, gathering speed, and then we go into Earth's Grace and Windfall for all the extra items. It's the best thing we're going for, right? Once you get to the end and you got the extra points, what you should be doing, guys, is putting it into your other gathering speed, what the actual unit is doing. I've made the mistake here and put it into all, but for argument's sake, you'll obviously max out logistics, max out the overall load capacity, but then you'll max out, because this is Pan, right? And Pan, as you can guess it, is the wood gathering hero. You should be maxing this talent here. This is giving you the 25% gathering speed bonus on wood, right? So when you come to like your Tara and like my Tara, I've actually built her correctly this time. So you can see what I've just talked about. You're going to go up this road. You're going to get the Mana Master. You're going to grab the Quick Harvest. You're going to grab all the transport speed. Boom, 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 boom. And you finish. If you expect to be farming in war, you can get Leeway and Joyful Labor. That's kind of like an honorable mention for PvP. It's a nice one to go for. But once if you're not going for that, you're going to be grabbing overall load capacity again, and then whatever your main mana, gathering type is. So for us, we might choose now, because we can choose any of the extras here, because she's already doubled up on the mana. We can maybe go for stone. We can go for one of these, right? So that is the best tree I would recommend. Try and make sure you have all of your gathering heroes set up correctly and do it once only, and it's done. So make sure your Keller's got the gold on her, right? Make sure your Chakcha has the ore one on him. Ordo you can't do, unfortunately. Ordo has to be paired up with another hero, but he does have the mana gathering speed. When it comes to Ordo, if you're wondering, I would recommend using obviously the engineering. That's kind of his go-to, just to kind of throw him in there and not forget about him. You can use Ordo with this tree, with Kregg or Nico, and obviously the maximum engineering bonuses is going to allow you to build things as fast as possible, right, for your alliance. So that is there technically all the PvE kind of heroes. So the last remaining heroes, as you can see, to talk about is going to be our Waldyr, our Foreigner, or not even Foreigner, our Hosk. Then we've got Bakar, and then we've got our Alwyn, right? I'm not going to do the 4 brand new heroes yet, because obviously I haven't got access to them and I haven't been able to test, so I don't want to give you misinformation on what's the best pages. But I will be doing a video on what I believe could be a good option for them with what they have, right? So look out for those videos. So let's finish this video off, because it's been a long one, right? I know it's been a long one, but I hope you guys have enjoyed this all in one go. Alwyn. Let's go backwards. So Alwyn is a really good hero you could run as a primary hero, surprisingly. The thing is, with him, I would recommend running very similar to our Velyn, but the way I went for this is full control, baby. The fact that you get full control, you are just reducing the most amount of stats to the player, triggering the backstabber. But you'll notice I am going to test Autumn Rains. This is the match I'm testing it on, because obviously I don't use Alwyn that much. But what I'm going to be testing on this is what Autumn Rains is capable of doing. Because the thing is, what people don't realize, we already have in the, obviously, artifact slot, the Dagger of Betrayal. And this is the exact same effect as our Autumn Rains. So I am thinking, what if we put both of them together? Alwyn and obviously Autumn Rains with Dagger Betrayal, we're going to be dispelling a lot of debuffs. Is this going to pump out a lot of damage? Who knows? Who knows, right? But it's a really interesting thing, and to see how much benefits that is. Because you got to think, if we're dispelling debuffs, if you didn't know this, guys, the Dagger of Betrayal, and I might make a new video on it just to showcase how OP that is, it removes anything. So hypothetically, if you do have like your Syndrion, it can remove the keen buffs. We've not hit the rapid fire yet, so we don't know if it does that. We know it hits, for argument's sake, Madeline. You can strip the 1200 shield, that classes as a buff, as well as the 20% attack bonus. That does mean as well for the Goresh, you can remove the damage taken reduction and as well as the bonus. We've tested this out on the Garwood. This Garwood did remove his damage taken reduction. So it's really interesting that you're able to do that with Autumn Rain. So that's the reason why, if we get to Alwyn, we're running this page. So if you want to run this page, you can. That's going to be the page for him. Obviously, we're going to add more points over into this magic tree once we're finished with it. Now, Bakar. I'm going to be honest with you guys, I wouldn't run him. There's the one hero in the game I still wouldn't run. Maybe in the deputy slot, he's good. The one thing I will showcase, though, is the Garrison tree, and that's kind of why I've got him on the video. So the Garrison tree, you can do a load of stuff, right? I want to talk about fair defense, because this is a really powerful effect for a lot of players. What this does is basically stop, but remember, all of your skills from activating, and all the things that matter is just how good your units are, right? So your buffs, basically, right? So it does make it quite interesting if you're able to beat someone on just the buff side of things. But if you feel like you're already the max out player, I would still go down the Thorn Barrier. Thorn Barrier is just insane. It's just absolutely insane. If you do not have this as a Garrison lead, I think the 9.2% are beating you. I would not be running fair defense, I'm going to be honest. But that is obviously for Garrison leads, right? This is on Bakar. But that is the tree that I would run. You might want to tweak things out again on here. But the thing is, the deeper in this section you go, especially in this top section, you're gaining the best buffs. 10%, 10%, 100 rage, 100 rage. You know, 5% extra damage dealt bonus. 10% hero skill damage bonus. That's the captain. Like, kind of cracked, right? So that is the Garrison tree, and that's kind of why I've got him on the video. And then to finish the last two off, Hosk, right? So the reason you run Hosk, guys, a lot of people are running Hosk and Kinnara, and that's the one match I am going to recommend running on him. If you're going to do that, it's going to be a full awakened Hosk. I'm going to be honest. You can't run it at 501. It just doesn't do enough. I've tried. But this is the page that I would run. And again, you can change this tree. But what you'll notice, because my Hosk isn't maxed out, right? He is only 53, so I've got some points left over. What I would recommend is doing the rally and the overall speed, just to get some extra march speed and extra HP on your march. You could double up and go rally 2% and get HP for 2%, which is kind of bonkers if you ask me. But you are going to go down the precision tree. The thing is that you want a precision tree core or base for your Hosk and Kinnara. It just does the most damage for you in the open field, right? So that is kind of a quick Hosk tree. I don't want to go too in-depth. Maybe do a full video when we get him fully awakened ourselves and showcase what you're going to run on him. And now, Waldyr. To finish it off, this is going to be the first tree that you'll ever see like this. Because obviously with Waldyr, you can run like any of the mage heroes or any of the heroes you've seen in this video, right? You've seen a variety of talent pages. You can run majority of those pages, guys, on any of the heroes. So if you want to run a very standard build like the Liliya build on your Waldyr, you can do that. I am running the most spiciest build today, and I'm going to go down all 3 trees. You heard right. Once I finish this out, you'll see why. This, I think, could be a game changer for Waldyr players. This is granting you the most amount of damage possible in the March, and I mean that. 8% extra more damage on your Deputy, you're getting 4% extra hero skill damage, you're getting 5% extra hero skill damage, here you're getting another 4% hero skill damage, over here you're getting, again, extra damage dealt, 3% increase when you're fighting, and then we will be taking Magic Maelstrom to strip their defense, and that is what is going to be the final payoff. And I think this is going to be a super spicy build for Waldyr, and that's why I've left it at the very end, because honestly, every other build I've talked about today, like I've said, could be used on Waldyr and be infinitely better. I'm going to be honest, all right? You could use a page like this. It could be infinitely better. But this is the page I wanted to show, because this shows a little bit of creativity in Call of Dragons and could be a super game changer, and maybe you might be using it in the future for other heroes that have all 3 tree access, right? So that is today's video concluded. Honestly, I think I've gone through every single hero there in the game. I've showcased 1 talent page for every single hero, including the gathering pages, the engineering pages. I've showcased the garrison page as well. I haven't showcased a rally page. I do apologize. Maybe we'll do a full video on rallying, because I think it should be its own video topic. But we've gone through everything else, right? So if you've enjoyed the video and this has helped you make some decisions and seen, oh, MrSneakyy actually has a variety of talent pages, so you can choose in different situations what you want, hopefully it's helped you out. And if it has, smash a like, comment, and subscribe. Share the video about. Until the next one, stay safe, stay sneaky. Peace out.